Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Disco Elysium. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that he chose to join me today as we talk to Gary the crypto-fascist who had the T500 cuirass, the fair weather one, which is the only one that we have, and we have it now. It's ours. Why did you lie to me, Gary?
Because I was weak.
He says, staring at nothing in particular.
I should have told you the moment I saw you, but
The hell, Gary? You in trouble?
I'll explain later.
He doesn't muster up the strength to yell. To yell at Morel. Yeah. Do you know who killed the hanged man?
I always thought it was the Union. Some Union hardasses lynched him because of the strike. But almost everyone in town knows that. I wish I could tell you more.
He shakes his head.
This is all he knows.
Yeah. Why did you really put those clothes in the trash?
Everyone was picking those pieces off him, and I was watching them do it. And they'd scattered his clothes all over the yard. Everything was smelling.
He looks at his feet.
So I went there to take out the trash and started cleaning up. All those rags on the ground, him swinging up there, and
He swallows.
I had a lapse of honor, sir. I thought, he's a foreigner. They all say he wasn't from here. Only the cuirass was left, so I stripped it off him. It was early in the morning. No one saw me. I took it with me. It was a mistake. Had I known it'd give you guys trouble, I wouldn't have...
His lips start quivering.
Fuck.
We're detecting sincere contrition here, sire. He's not trying to flatter anyone.
Okay, are we done here, Gary?
Yes, absolutely. I will never do anything like this again.
He looks around, relieved of some burden, his mouth still quivering. Okay, thank you for your cooperation. And now... Oh, another save. Don't worry about that. That was a done thing. Yeah, it automatically put that away. Let me put my clothes back, the ones that I like, and let's look at this thing. +1 pain threshold, +1 volition, -1 empathy, thicker skin for pain threshold, borrowed confidence for volition, and mania of invulnerability with a -1 empathy. This vitreous enamel cuirass fits snugly and redistributes kinetic energy across its countless white plates. Amazingly, it fits under your coat, and it also makes pretty porcelain sounds when shaken. So, I have... Wait, what was that sound? Why is it doing that sound? Oh, that's the sound it makes. Oh, that's curious. Oh, I'm wearing the gloves. Yeah, so the helmet... We're missing the helmet, but the helmet was thrown into the sea. What are we missing? I don't know. Maybe we have something here. There it is. Where's the rest of the armor? We got all the things? Fantastic. We don't have too many missions left here. That makes sense because we have a lot of things that are completely new. We have a new area. And of course Clashy has just been arrested. So yeah. Let's move on. No, right click is not the trick.
Always a pleasure to see an officer of the law.
Do you know anything about the man hanged behind the whirling in rags? I mean, besides what you told me already.
I told you everything. I just took the cuirass, that's all. I promise. I don't know anything else.
'Tis true, sire. This man simply did not know what he was getting caught up in.
Are you a cryptozoologist too?
No. I help Morel with research sometimes, and I've learned some things along the way. But I don't usually go in for picnics like this on my own.
There probably is a follow-up to this, but you can't think of any. Doesn't matter. Waste of time anyway. Gotta keep moving.
Yeah, I think I need to talk to Morel first. So Gary, you live nearby, in an apartment in Martinez, and I'm gonna point in the direction of the apartment.
Sure do, officer.
His eyes narrow slightly. He's wondering where this is going.
Have you found your door open lately?
In my home. Yes. When I was going to... How did you know?
Mr. Hart Clare thought it necessary to unlock your apartment.
Mr. Clare unlocked my apartment?
No, I did, per his requests.
So you work for Everard Clare? Officer, please tell him we're good. No, tell him I'll make it up to him. What have I done? He'll send the muscle after me.
The man looks around, whispering. He makes sure no one hears you talk.
As he lowers his tone, he hunches his back.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but he doesn't like you.
I was probably talking too loud in the whirling the other night. About some theories. Stupid. Shouldn't have run my mouth loud like that. I won't do it again. If there's anything I can do to assist you, or the Union, just ask, okay? I'll try to help if I can.
This scared him proper. He's positively melting from fear. Has to prop himself up with a lot of anger to keep it together.
Yeah, fear and anger, huh? Thank you for your cooperation. We might come back to him later. Morel.
Here we go. Nice and easy. No way out, little guys. Not out of this jam.
There's a cylinder on the ground in which the man is arranging some netting. It looks like some kind of trap. He notices you.
Who's there? Oh, the police. Hello, officer.
His self-conscious enthusiasm renders his movements ungainly. He looks like your understanding of a scientist.
You must be Morel, the cryptozoologist?
To what do I owe the pleasure?
Lena sent me. She's been really worried about you and is waiting for you to get back.
Of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damn water lock is broken, and we can't go all the way around the 881.
Oh, no. The water lock's been fixed. It was fine when I crossed it.
Oh, good. We should really be getting back. Gary could use a hot shower and a warm bed.
Did he say we can go back now?
Yes, Gary. We can go soon.
He turns to you.
If you see Lena, tell her I won't be long. I just have to do one more round. See if the phasmid has taken the bait. Then we're going.
He refastens a bit of netting that has come loose in the wind.
His hands are large and weather-worn, but also used to delicate, precise work.
Tell me about this phasmid you're looking for. This reminds me I should talk to Lena about her telling me more things that Kim doesn't want to listen. Yes, we're going to do that after this. Yes, tell me about this phasmid. He says, well, first of all, it's damn difficult to find.
Which is why we've been knee-deep in the reeds laying traps for it.
What makes it so difficult to find?
Good question. Being a phasmid of the order Phantasmodea, a ghost insect, it disguises itself as plant matter. In this case, the reeds.
He looks around.
Awful lot of reeds around, aren't there? And I suspect it may have also developed other specialised techniques to protect itself from predators, or scientists, in our present case.
What sort of specialized techniques is the phasmid using to hide itself?
It's my hypothesis that it has evolved certain electrochemical defences that allow it to interfere with animal perception, impeding pattern recognition, confusing the visual cortex. But I cannot describe how these defences work, much less how they evolved, without studying a live specimen.
How big is this phasmid?
I'm expecting it to be quite giant. One known species of phasmid, called the Megaphasmodea zoensis, is about the size of a grown man's forearm. So,
He leaves the conclusion up to you.
Seems puny, to be honest.
Why are you so interested in this stick bug? It doesn't seem to be as colorful as some of the other cryptids I have heard about.
Typical rookie assumption.
He flashes you a sideways smile.
Insects are much more sophisticated creatures than those unversed in zoology give them credit for. Even simply catching a glimpse of the Insulindian phasmid would be the apex of of any cryptozoologist's career. But to study it and its defences, find out how it stayed hidden so long.
He shakes his head.
Would be glory itself.
Electrochemistry there. What have you discovered about it so far?
Very little, I'm sorry to say. No one's ever captured a specimen, so all our information is based on first and third-hand accounts.
So no one's ever found one?
Not yet.
He holds up an index finger.
That's what makes it a cryptid.
But if no one can prove it exists, how do you know it's real?
I know it's real.
The cryptozoologist says, brusquely enough that even he seems taken aback by it.
By which I mean,
He says, gathering himself.
I've heard enough first-hand accounts to believe quite firmly that the Incidentally phasmid is more than mere superstition.
Lena said there has been a sighting of it here in Martinez.
Yes, the most recent sighting was by a couple of teenagers along the coast here. That's what brought us to Martinez specifically. It's the first credible sighting in several decades. Admittedly, it's an unusual location for this species, but with all the sewage runoff upstream, it probably doesn't matter much anymore.
Maybe the Incidentally phasmid has died out?
I have to resist the thought.
He shakes his head vigorously.
Such an extraordinary creature is doubtlessly highly resilient. After all, it's generally thought to be capable of parthenogenesis.
And parthenogenesis being the, as far as I know, the separation of cells into, or maybe not cells in general, it could be any organism, into two. Basically, you know, it drops an arm and that arm grows the rest of another one of these things. Which I believe is how reeds work as well. If you cut a reed and plant it on the ground, it'll just continue growing. But that a lot of plants do that as well, like trees and stuff. Our encyclopedia here failing. I might have been failing as well. If you are really curious about what that is, you can look it up, obviously. Parthenogenesis?
Yes, the females don't need males to reproduce. Makes it easier for a species to survive in adverse conditions.
Yeah, that's not how that works. Most likely there are no such things as females or males in this genus. That's this arouses no special feelings in me. That's pretty clever. Let's go with that.
Yes, the Incidentally phasmid is a very clever insect. That's why it's so damn difficult to catch. But as a scientist, I'll try my best to remain dispassionate.
There's nothing dispassionate about the way he talks about the insect.
Yeah. Tell me more about these traps.
Well,
He points at the cage of mesh and wiring on the ground.
they may not look impressive, but Lena designed them quite cleverly, so I'm sure they'll do the trick.
Lena designed the traps?
Yes,
He says with some pride. How do the traps work?
simple. Attracted by the locusts, the phasmid crawls down the funnel and, having eaten its fill, can't get back out. At least, that's the intention. The net isn't a perfect solution, but we didn't want to use anything that might damage the specimen's delicate exoskeleton.
What are you using as bait?
Locusts.
He gestures towards the trap.
Nearly all known phasmids are herbivores, of course. But we've hypothesized that the Incidentally phasmid might occasionally prey on other insects.
Inside the traps, a number of locusts crawl and tumble over one another in a tiny, chittering swarm. A meat-eating stick insect? Does it pretend to be the reeds as part of its ambush behavior? This seems unlikely.
A carnivorous stick insect. Seems unlikely.
Thank you for your opinion. We have also included plant material in the traps to satiate your skepticism.
Not a big fan of skepticism, this one.
Yeah. What will you do if these traps don't work?
They'll work, I assure you. The predatory hypothesis, using locusts as bait, accounts for the failure of previous efforts by other teams, which use plants. We have given this some thought.
The traps do seem to be deftly and thoughtfully constructed. It's clear the cryptozoologist's wife knows what she's doing.
Let me ask you about something else.
Yes. What?
Lena seems pretty eager for you to return.
And I'm eager to return to her, I assure you. But I can't leave before we finish with these traps. My wife understands that just as well as anyone.
He looks south, where Lena would be.
Come on, Morel. We've been soaking out here for days. It's time to go back.
And leave the traps? Absolutely not.
He yells in response.
I won't let Lena down.
Come on, she wants us back. I'm soaked up to my nuts over here. We'll both catch reed crabs if we don't dry out soon.
I didn't know the phasmid was so important to Lena.
Of course it's important to her. She's seen it. A verified sighting, on record. One of only 4 this century, and it's hers.
She's seen it?
Really? She's sighted the phasmid? She didn't tell me that.
Yes, that's how we first came to know one another, in fact. But that's her story to tell, not mine.
He coughs. And then continues.
Suffice to say, it's long been our dream to find proof of the Incidentally phasmid together. I can't abandon course now.
Another cough into his fist this time. Maybe you could go back to the whirling, warm up, come back, and check the traps later?
No. The traps need to be monitored on a regular schedule. What would we do if the phasmid were to starve while we were sipping tea at the hostel?
I could go for some trap setting.
Yeah, what if I checked the trap for you?
I didn't expect you to take such an interest in our work here, officer.
He looks at you with obvious surprise. Yeah, Kim's not with me, so cryptozoology and detective work are very similar.
Yes, indeed. Both require a great deal of research, attention to detail, and, above all, persistence.
What if I encounter the phasmid in the wild?
That's highly unlikely, officer. But in the event you do,
He takes a small white spray can out.
I'll spray you with a pheromone mixture I developed. It's made of musk and research chemicals. The pheromone should attract the insect to you, or at least prevent it from bolting at the sight of you. It's quite potent. Will last you about a week.
Oh, lay it on me then, thick, and I'm gonna present to my armpit. He douses you with the odd-smelling spray, a double helping as you present your other armpit, and then gives you a satisfied nod.
This is the smell of dying reeds, of longing crumbling into the water.
Where are these traps?
There are 4 in total. One is to the south, on this little peninsula, by the boathouses there.
He points south.
It's very near. Another we set in Land's End, to the northeast. It's behind a small sand dune there, on your way to the old radio tower, after the church. The third is set near the canal, where you crossed, by a concrete slab. A big thicket of reeds going up the slope, and among them,
He gestures to the trap in front of him.
you should check at least one of those before returning to this one, since I just said it. This one's more of a technicality, but still, better safe and stupid than sorry.
What do I do if there's a phasmid in one of these traps?
Bring it to me at once. Just make sure the trap is closed tight.
He's not comfortable with the possibility that you'll claim the find, but he's lying about this even to himself.
It's kind of interesting that he thinks the phasmid is gonna fit in one of these traps. They haven't talked about size here. I'm ready. Let's get to it.
Thank you for your help. Gary and I will start breaking down camp. If you have any more questions, now's the time to ask.
Finally, you're being sensible. I'll start packing right now.
How did you become a cryptozoologist?
I've just always liked animals and puzzles. Searching for cryptids is a bit of both.
He seems reluctant to talk about himself, but he'll open up, if you prod a little.
So you're living your childhood dream out here?
It's not child's play, just because I have to traipse through the mud every so often.
His eyes narrow. Why not just be a zoologist? Real animals are puzzling too.
Real?
He scoffs at the concept.
I know you think one is a respectable profession, while the other is superstition. Everyone does.
I don't. It's a profession, just like any other.
Indeed. My methods do not differ from other scientists. I simply draw upon a wider variety of evidence. And I have more hope that something truly surprising might happen.
Your nerve endings tell you there is no such thing as a positive surprise.
And has anything truly surprising ever happened to you?
No, as I said, I have yet to catch a cryptid, although I have come close. Close enough to keep trying.
Interesting. Something for later, this close call.
What kind of evidence do you use?
Everything from forgotten regional lore to newspaper accounts, like the one that brought us here, to look for the phasmid. I keep a very open mind.
So you have never discovered a cryptid?
No. Very few cryptids are ever discovered, and not for a lack of trying. To stay hidden is a cryptid's primary quality. It's even in the name, cryptid.
So how many cryptids have been found?
Of the list of cryptids kept by the Cryptozoological Society of Chemney, which is 4,082 items long, about 2,000 have been confirmed as hoaxes. 2 are categorised as confirmed discoveries. The rest are in differing stages of discovery, refutation, and data collection.
Only 2 have proven to be real?
Yes, the Chateau Quan forest pygmy, who turned out to be an extinct species of primate, and a cave salamander from Yugograd, who is, honestly, quite unremarkable. It's in a zoo somewhere. We cryptozoologists are brutally honest with ourselves, more so even than the public. With cryptids, most cryptids are hoaxes or they are never found. That does not mean we should stop searching.
Then the Incidentally phasmid will be the third.
Indeed.
He does not smile, just looks you in the eye. It's a forceful gaze.
If our expedition is successful, every paper in the world will report on it. From Revachol to Dushantu. It will be a zoological miracle.
The hair on your arms stand up. Electricity. Sounds like reeds hissing. He has clearly done his math on this. There is no surprising him or swaying his opinion.
Thanks for explaining that. Now about something else.
Yes?
Let's talk about specific cryptids. And he eyes you skeptically.
All right. What cryptids precisely? I usually discuss these things with specialists, so I don't know what.
You need to ask him about specific cryptids. Cryptids you've heard about from Lena or his friend Gary. He won't just talk.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to go back to Lena. I don't think he's gonna leave here before we exit the day. I think it's gonna... I remember him being like, oh no, you should talk to me right now, because we're gonna be out. But, he doesn't actually leave immediately. Which cryptid did you almost catch? You said before that you almost caught one.
A willow person. It's a long story. One non-specialist would find rather dull.
What are willow people?
They're not people, really. Some argue they aren't really animals, as they seem to have evolved directly from trees.
He says it in a self-explanatory, everyday manner.
They're very, very thin, almost flat in fact, and can camouflage themselves easily, wrapping themselves around trees and blending in with the tree bark. In that way, they're not too dissimilar from the phasmid we're looking for here.
Wait, so I may have seen these willow people without knowing it?
You probably have.
How did you almost catch a willow person?
Gary and I painted an entire grove's worth of trees in slow-drying paints. It was a bright lavender colour. I was hoping one of the willow people would get paint on it and not be able to camouflage itself. After waiting in hiding for hours, I saw a figure slip from one of the trees, a lavender shadow, dashing through the grove.
And then?
I chased it with a net, Not very elegant. You can't be elegant in the field. And, well, it was faster than me.
A lavender shadow.
I know it sounds like we were snacking on funny mushrooms, but I did see motion and colour. Mine is not a confirmed sighting of a cryptid, however. Much goes into verifying these things, and my account comes short of a few standards.
And Lena's sighting of the phasmid is that,
Confirmed.
he replies quickly.
It's 100% verified, and meets all the standards of an authentic cryptid sighting.
I know all about the kind green ape. Look, I even have a kind green ape pen.
I see you've been talking about cryptids with Lena.
He smiles.
The kind green ape is one of her favourites. We travelled to South Safra to look for it once. Gary and I got stuck in a rainstorm though, and had to spend most of our time there in a little village. The search was fabulously unsuccessful, but the people were very nice. I'm glad they didn't understand what Gary was saying about them.
Yeah.
What? South Safra? They're just on a different rung of the ladder, Morel. I had no problem with them.
Yeah, it's the whole, I don't actually think you're inferior because you smell nice or something. But you do. It's not about inferiority, it's about just different, being a racist piece of shit.
Really? You kept complaining about how dirty everything is, but we digress.
They're a nascent culture. I just didn't feel comfortable. And let's change the topic, okay? Talk about your critters, or whatever.
He mumbles something.
Yes, back to cryptozoology. You don't want to sow disagreement between friends.
Okay, just tell me about a cool cryptid, any cryptid.
No offence, officer, but I'm not much of a pedagogue. I don't know what I would have done if Lena hadn't persuaded me to go back to field research. You should ask her if you want interesting stories. Me? I'm not a people person, unless you haven't noticed. And I don't make a good lecturer. My strength lies in field work and persistence.
He brushes an errant strand of hair from his eyes. Enough tales then, let's change the subject.
By all means.
He coughs. And wipes his mouth. Did you know Gary was hiding the armor?
Hell no. I had no idea. And I'm still cross with him, to be honest. It's not like him. He's got his quirks, but dishonesty, disloyalty are not one of them.
Thanks.
The man mutters in the distance. He doesn't dare say more. Okay, I'll get going. Because we are going straight to Lena, if I can find my way around, because I don't think... Did we come from here? Yes, we did, yes. I definitely can find my way around then. We're going to tell her that he's coming back, or at least, hopefully he's coming back, even if it isn't going to be in this... Well, before the end of the day. I think he's only going to be there at the beginning of the next day. And also we're going to ask her about all the other crypto little creatures. But for right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Disco Elysium. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video, but above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.